Hareini mekabel alai mitzvahs aseh shel v'ahavta l'reacha kamocha. On behalf of our camp director, Reb Shmuel Khan, our board of directors, our administration, V'Shem Kol Yisrael, Bruchim Aboyim B'Shem Hashem. Welcome to Camp Ask Tov Shin Pei Hey. Okay, we're here. This past couple of weeks will go down in history. Jewish history, world history. Bichlal, since Simchas Torah, since October 7th, and specifically, what we have been living through will be a tekufa that's remembered as one of the most miraculous, greatest diplomatic and military achievements in Israel's history. That's for sure. Tanakh level, literally biblical level, seismic shifts and changes in the story of our people. But Chazal tell us that those of us who experience a miracle don't always recognize it as such right away. Ein bal hanes makir beniso. But with time, the historical significance of what happened in Eretz Yisrael and what's happening all over the world, it'll become clear. Just keep in mind, just as a point of reference, from the point of Yetzias Mitzrayim, not the Yetzias Mitzrayim of the whole Chaver that were in Cairo the last couple of days, but from our national exodus from Egypt, from the point of Yetzias Mitzrayim, it took us 400 years to build the Beis HaMikdash. The arc of history is moving, the needle is shifting, we're people who are baderech. That's the first plug of the summer. I just wanted to get that out of the way. Now I could take a deep breath and focus on what I wanted to say. I was just trying to think how I was going to work it in. We are living in incredible times. I say, Ashreinu matov chalkeinu, how fortunate we are to have been chosen as the generation who are here for it. We're witnessing all around us incredible sacrifice, gevura, heroism. There's an intensity. There's a terrible price to be paid. There's a heaviness and there's tragedy. But it's part of this incredible unfolding narrative of redemption from which a nation is emerging with an incredible spirit, with a new ruach. There's also a time of real birur, of clarification. We're living in a time where the birur of history, of good and evil, of us and them, of light and darkness, of those who are on the right side of history and those who stand in the way of God's plan unfolding, is becoming very, very clear. Now, nobody yet has asked me for my involvement or my input in policy or diplomacy, military strategy. I share my opinion. That's when everybody at the Shabbos table ignores me. But I don't know that that's necessarily what we're here for anyways. There are diplomats and military experts or so-called experts, and there are politicians who are working on strategy and thinking about those different elements of the battle. The question for us here, as we begin to orient ourselves for an orientation at Camp Ask, is what exactly we can do. How we can play a part in the story of our people. How we can take a chelek in this awesome unfolding narrative from afar. Okay, I'm going to date myself for a moment. Rabavi will validate me. Daniel, before the days of Rocky IV, the great clash of the Titans between Rocky and Ivan Drago, Ymach Shemo, when the evil empire Reagan was calling the USSR, Russia, was the Rosh HaNachash of that generation. It was preceded by an era of intensive tension, conflict, between the United States, the West, and the USSR, Russia. There was competition in every single dimension of life: military, economic, social, cultural. And all eyes were focused in the early 1960s on what was called the space race. It was a major aspect of the Cold War. Both nations were vying to see who was going to be the first one to demonstrate their military power, their technology, their advancement, with these satellites and all sorts of intergalactic and scientific superiority, one over the next, to see who was going to be the first one to put a man on the moon. They're sending astronauts into space, cosmonauts. In 1962, John F. Kennedy was the president at the time, visited NASA. It was his first visit to NASA headquarters. During his tour of the facility, he's walking around, seeing all the different technological advancements and taking pictures. So it was a flex, it was a show of strength. He came out of the restroom, did his Asher Yatzar, and he saw that there was a custodian, there was like a janitor, maintenance guy, standing there with a mop right outside the bathroom in the NASA facility. And he was a gentleman, he was a respectful person, President Kennedy. And JFK smiled at him, wished him a good afternoon. And he said, "So what do you do here for NASA?" Now this maintenance guy, this custodian, the janitor, holding a mop, looks at the President of the United States with all the press corps and all of his pamalia surrounding him. And he said, "Well, sir, I'm very lucky to be working here at NASA. We're putting a man on the moon." The Alter Rebbe would say that it's upon us to live with the times. It's meaningful and it's instructive that we're beginning our summer here together, our staff orientation with Parshas Korach. Gimel Tammuz is this weekend, the Hilula, the Yard Site, the day marking the Histalkus of the Lubavitcher Rebbe. We'll have plenty of time to Fabrang over Shabbos and Sunday. But the Alter Rebbe said to live with the times. Parshas Korach focuses us on what it means to be in a position of leadership in Klal Yisrael, what it means to take responsibility, to take achrayus, to be someone who is seen as a leader. Va'ani hinei lakachti es acheichem halaviyim mitoch b'nei Yisrael. The Ribbono Shel Olam says, "I've taken you from among the Leviim, from among Klal Yisrael, lachem matana, given to you as a gift, nesunim laHashem la'avod, netunim laHashem la'avod, given over to Hashem to perform the avoda, to work. Given as a gift, given over to Hashem to work." Just to be clear from the outset about what our goal here is this summer at Camp Hask. We are given over to Hashem to work, to do God's work, to partner with the Ribbono Shel Olam, to represent the Master of the world, and to be in service of others. Nesunim laHashem la'avod. There are more than 600 staff members who are going to be gathered here this summer, in addition to our direct care counselor staff. We have medical professionals, maintenance staff, we have office staff and secretaries. We have an academics program and an MIH team. We have a therapy center. In the Beis Refuah, we have individuals working in facilities management. We have recreation, division heads, administrators. We have a Beis Medrash program, a kitchen and dining room, of course. All of us, nesunim laHashem la'avod, all of us, charged to keep the main thing, an avodat matana, to embrace the gift of taking responsibility, of having achrayus over others and being in service of Klal Yisrael. Whatever your job is here this summer, and you'll learn more about it over the next couple of days, whatever your specific role is, we are all netunim laHashem la'avod. We're all giving ourselves over to God to work an avodas matana, a service of others, which is the greatest gift that Hashem has given us. The knowledge that He's counting on us, that Hashem depends on us, and is waiting for us to step up and take achrayus over others. There's no greater privilege, there's no greater schus, and there's no greater shlichus than being invited into partnership with the Master of the world. There's really no greater gift that Hashem can give us. There's no greater sign and symbol and expression of His love for us than God counting on us. Here in Camp Ask, our job is to provide care for individuals with specialized needs, with intellectual and developmental disabilities and physical handicaps, to provide a respite for our campers, for their families. Our goal, our intention is to create a level playing field where everything and every place and every opportunity is open and accessible for all. To challenge, to reinterpret universally accepted definitions and norms of what it means to be able, what it means to be not able, or what some people call disabled. Throughout this weekend, you're going to learn a lot of important terminology, essential information, rules, regulations, laws, do's and don'ts, instructions, best practices. You're going to meet a lot of new people. Can't overstate how important it is, just how critical it is for new staff and for returning staff alike to be present, to be open, to pay attention. There is an infinite potential for Kiddush Hashem. And with that infinite potential and challenge, the Mekadesh Shem Shamayim, comes infinite details. Being given over in God's services, it sounds good, it sounds nice. Maybe they'll take a few seconds of it and put it on an Instagram story, or make a meaningful minute out of it or something like that. To be Nesunim LaHashem La'avod. It's uplifting and it's empowering and it's beautiful. Says Rashi, Yachol Avodaschem Shel Hedyot. You might think that we are given over and that these laws are given to us for mundane work. Hedyot, mundane work. Talmud Lomar. Chazal teach us that the pasuk specifically says, LaHashem. Rashi tells us in our Sedra, God is in the details. So listen carefully. There's life-saving protocol that you're going to learn. Dinei nefashos. You're going to learn the art of holy service from those who have come before you. And Be'ezrat Hashem, be able to ensure the safety and well-being and health of our campers. And just understand, it's not that it's Rashi is just telling us that it's not hedyot, that it's not mundane. But everything this summer, in every department and in every corner of this campus, every detail and every aspect and every moment of your day, and every effort on behalf of another yid, of another person, it's Kvod Shamayim, it brings honor to Hashem, it's Nitzchias, it's eternity. How do we connect the dots between what's going on over there in Eretz Yisrael and in the new Middle East, and the new world order, and over here in Parksville? By understanding that we are all in the midst of a battle for Kvod Shamayim, for God's presence in the world. When we do good for another, we amplify God's goodness in the world. We bind ourselves to the collective soul and story of the Jewish people. We're part of a larger movement. Nesunim la'avod la'Hashem. We're given over to avodas Hashem by recognizing that it's God who is giving us over to work. We give ourselves over to Knesset Yisrael. We give ourselves over to our koz, to those who we work with, those who we live with, those who are we in service with. We participate in Olam Chesed Yibaneh, building the world with kindness. You're going to meet and interact with some of the most wonderful and loving, professional and caring, dedicated people, created, committed women and men here in Camp Hask, who are literally giving their lives at the front lines for the soul of the Jewish people and to make the world a better place. They've made professional and personal choices to be here, to work together with you and us, to make this world a better place, to build the world with chesed. Consciously throughout the summer, we're going to incubate, we're going to do our best to cultivate kindness and sensitivity, but also leadership and achrayus, responsibility. Already starting now, before the campers get here, you're going to be cast into a world of responsibility and achrayus through which you will grow. You'll steig. You'll become great. And whatever your specific job is here, the difference between being a janitor mopping the bathroom floors in the NASA headquarters and putting a man on the moon is just a matter of self-identification. It's how we self-identify. And as you know, we all have the right to identify however we choose. So identify as a Yid, identify as a Jew who aspires to give himself over in the service of God and in the service of others. To be on the front lines for Nishmas Yisrael, for Kavod Habrios, for the honor of mankind, which is the honor of God, for Tselem Elokim. So whatever you're going to learn in your specific orientations, whatever these laws from the state or from our administration here in camp, and whatever halacha you're going to learn this summer about how to conduct ourselves during the weekend on Shabbos, understand that all of it is to amplify Tselem Elokim, the image of God, in ourselves and in others. All of it is making the world a better place. That custodian in Texas that JFK met in 1962 understood that he was chashuv, that he was important. He understood that he was being counted on to play a part in putting a man on the moon. He understood that he was part of a team, that he was part of something greater, a bigger picture, a mission, a movement, something important, something chashuv. Professor Velvel Green of blessed memory, he was a chassid of the Lubavitcher Rebbe, and before that, a principal scientist in NASA during those days. When he met the Lubavitcher Rebbe, the Rebbe helped him understand that it's very good to be busy with like outer space and with things that are going on, in the arc of history out there. But it's perhaps more important for us to be concerned with what's taking place here, in our inner space. Building rocket ships to soar through the sky, across space, in the atmosphere, it's impressive, it's exciting. Elon Musk could be busy with that. It's like I was talking about for the past 30 years, joking about the Iranian nuclear threat. That Caroline Glick and Bibi Netanyahu and my dad were the ones taking care of the Iranian nuclear threat. And now for all of us busy with like Fardo and Isfahan and Natanz and all these places and ballistic missiles and talking about centrifuges and nuclear, all of that is important and good. I don't know that that's our primary avoda. Certainly not mine. But to borrow from the words of the Chafetz Chaim, out there they're building rockets, out there they're working to put people on the moon and to blow things up, but in here, mir machen Menschen. In here we're building people. Here we're building the world by building relationships, by stepping into a role of responsibility, taking care of Yidden, taking care of ourselves, and taking care of each other. Many of us here just came from Eretz Yisrael. Everyone here is on their way to Eretz Yisrael. We're all baderech to Eretz Yisrael. But to be honest, I'll be honest, leaving Eretz Yisrael in the middle of all of this feels like leaving the 7th game of the World Series in the bottom of the 9th with the winning run on 3rd. It's like a funny time to leave. The roller coaster of the last couple of weeks, in and out of the mamad, bomb shelters, sirens, Pikud HaOref, whether you're there or you're watching it from afar, everyone is a part of this. It might feel a little bit funny doubling down and double clicking into this zone called Camp Hask. As we speak, there are soldiers in the south and in the north, in this new Middle East and across the Holy Land, members of our Camp Hask community. All of us have brothers and sisters, nieces and nephews and friends and cousins, children, significant others. Camp Hask alumni in Lebanon and in Syria, and in Gaza and Yehuda and Shomron and all over Eretz Yisrael. Some might have been over the skies in Iran. Believe of a nefesh, with our whole heart and our whole soul and all of our intent and all of our focus, awakening our kavanah to add merit and to put wind in their sails for the hatzlacha of our soldiers, for the return of all of our brothers and sisters home, for the eradication of our enemies. We're all part of it. But that requires kavanah, that requires intent. So we're opening our hearts and our souls and our thoughts and our tefillos. We're recognizing that what we're doing here connects very much and fuels the building of a new world order, preparing the world for Mashiach. For God's honor to shine in the world, God's honor has to shine here. The eyes and the attention of the entire world are on the Jewish people. We're in the midst of an existential struggle over the body and soul of our nation, perhaps now more than ever. A word, just a word. There are quite a few empty seats here. A word to our chevra, members of our staff who are in Eretz Yisrael. You're not stuck. A Yid is never stuck, the Rebbe said. Everywhere a Jew finds, I was in Istanbul. That was not on my bingo card yesterday, 2 days ago when I woke up. It was actually never on my, the Baal Shem Tov HaKadosh was in Istanbul with his daughter. Anybody who sits by Asudas Baal Shem Tov at the end of Pesach, I have to get back to the notes. But anybody who sits at Asudas Mashiach at the end of Pesach knows the story with the Deitcher and the Bracha and Istanbul and the cannibal. The Baal Shem Tov ended up with his daughter in Istanbul. So I was with my daughter in Istanbul yesterday. We did not plan that. We weren't stuck there. We had a shlichus there. I offered tefillin to Jewish people, bought a water bottle for someone, I bought a coffee, I bought an espresso there, made a bracha out loud. I saw quite a few people who were also covering their heads in different ways. A Yid is not stuck. Wherever we are is where we're supposed to be. We have a shlichus. So for all of our chevra, and Shalvim for women, and Netziv Aryeh, and MMY, and other places, who are in Eretz Yisrael, who are Baderech, wherever they are, know that you're where we all ought to be. You're part of this team. You're in Palter and Shalmelech. You're not missing anything. We'll catch you up. Your seats are saved. Amazingly, it's all the seats that are in the first row or two. Be where you are. Know that the efficacy of a bracha, of a tefillah in Eretz Yisrael is so different. It's so different. The avir of Eretz Yisrael is different. And when you come and you join us here in Parksville, you'll be wind in our sails and help us connect those dots back so that all of us, this team, this staff, this nation, this family called Knesset Yisrael is able to rise up to this challenge and opportunity that the Ribono Shel Olam has invited us to be a part of in these end of days, with a sense of agency and urgency, of arevos, of mutual responsibility, and most importantly, with sacrifice for God's honor by honoring others. Love of God is expressed in love of the Jewish people, Ahavas Yisrael. So let's take a deep breath here and begin our orientation by orienting ourselves with an intention, with a tefillah. You'll notice that as you drive into camp, there's a speed bump on the gate. Words from the Arizal, from the Ari HaKadosh, to frame our daily service, to begin our davening by taking upon ourselves the mitzvah of V'ahavta l'reacha kamocha. Hareini mekabel alai mitzvah saseh, shel v'ahavta l'reacha kamocha. May we appreciate this great opportunity and responsibility here this summer. May we cherish the schus and the challenge, the opportunity and the privilege of being in service of our campers, their families, and one another. May we know that we are worthy of this avodas matana, of this gift. May we be able to carry it with grace. And may we be mesunim laHashem la'avod, netunim laHashem la'avod, given over to Hashem Yisbarach and to His holy people to work hard. To work hard for other Jews, to work hard for Hashem's honor in the world. On behalf of the campers, families, staff and administration of Camp Hask, we welcome you. We thank you from the bottom of our hearts for being here. Hashem Yatzliach Darkeinu.